Hello, everyone. Today I'm presenting my Capstone internship project as a part of Wasserman Golf's consulting team. I learned a great deal about the future of golf, the industry of golf, and just I wanted to share some ideas on where I think golf might be heading, as well as some suggestions for grabbing a new audience and capitalizing on the things that golf does really well right now. But we'll get into it. First, we want to look at our table of contents. I'll look into TGL, or Tomorrow's Golf League, a new golf league added to the PGA Tour season that featured teams of golf. And I'll also draw out a new case study with the MLB, which shows things like pace of play and increased speed play overall that makes the game more exciting. We'll look at attracting a new generation of golf fans, particularly a Gen Z audience, my demographic of a golf fan, and how to get new ones, how to maintain that generation of golf fan, how to keep them coming back to golf tournaments and keeping them on the broadcast and other things. And then I'll end with a recap and overall recommendation for where I think golf's heading and some things they do really well. So starting with takeaways from the TGL, they have a shot clock for shots. So shots are timed. You can really speed through holes. I think they did a really good job of making it easy to watch. It came on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and it was really quick. Only a few hours of watching. I think people just enjoyed having golf earlier in the week, and only for a few hours at a time. It was really quick. You could wrap up holes after a few shots, and it was just added well on the start of golf season and being early in the week. There are big names and brands to stimulate the interest. They had the best golfers in the world a part of it, but they also had a lot of people outside, celebrities. A lot of MLB stars like Mike Trout, former star David Ortiz would come by. Serena Williams were investors in these teams, and I think that they did a really good job of drawing interest from outside of sport, outside of golf as a sport, and bringing in their audiences and cheering on this new product. Like I said, it did a really good job as being an additive, not kind of a rival to the PGA Tour season. But I do think it missed out on having these team names and brand identities. It wasn't the best rooting interest. As well, I think they can do a little bit more competitively to make the content a little bit more grasping and entertaining. Looking at the MLB case study, MLB implemented a shot clock or a pitch clock in 2023. It's 20 seconds. There's larger bases, more stolen bases. There's a ban on positional shift, which makes more exciting plays, boosts stats. And this really helped boost attendance. Game times dropped down, increase in players' stats and big plays, and then richer media and ad sales. How this looks at, I think this really goes to the baseball fan, and this translates well to the PGA Tour and professional golf, where media rights are the main driver of revenue for the PGA Tour. 52% of annual revenue in 2023 came from these media right deals. Ratings are down, which is, I think a little bit attributed to the slowness and lack of, entertainment part of these golf broadcasts. Even in the Farmers Insurance Open this year, they only showed 1.2 shots per minute. A shot clock was put into the European Tour, which saw a pace drop by almost 40 minutes. Rangefinders are being used this month in tournament to speed things up. But I really think the big debate's between having just more golfers in threesomes versus twosomes out on the course. And then I think with this, if you shorten up the golf broadcast, you make it shorter, increase pace, then you can charge more for spending and create more money as part of the PGA Tour's overall annual revenue. Moving into attracting a new generation of golf fan, I think TGL is a great starting point. As I mentioned, influencers and other figures outside of the sport to grasp attention. I think they did a really good job of that. Staying up to date with trends is really helpful. What are we in? Is it health and wellness stuff? Or is it golf equipment? But also, making these tournaments interactive. Is it sports betting and gaming? Is it college nights? I think the WM Phoenix Open does a great job of this. But I also think that my generation and the Gen Z generation is looking for alternate forms of entertainment, whether it be a concert or other interactions and activations to really draw tournaments. But also understand that not every tournament's the best suited for these kind of events, and that'll be something to monitor. Maintaining these, I think it's just staying up to date with where partnerships are trending. Is it a new watch or a new Fitbit thing where you can partner with a golfer in the PGA Tour, setting up sport equipment and apparel? That's a really big thing, how golfers look and dress, and just entertainment, who's popular, who's trending in pop culture, and getting them to the tournament, and then also making these experiences memorable and getting people to come back. Lastly, just recapping, TGL did a really good job of speeding up, alternative form of golf. And I think people really liked how quick it was and how easy it was. The case study revealed that, speeding up the game will be profitable, and using personalities to simulate interest outside. and just maintaining that those relationships and partnerships will do really well for golf. But thanks for listening, everyone, and hope you enjoy Professor McDonnell. And yeah, great internship, and glad to be a part of it. Thanks.